Hey, before the podcast gets started, make sure to go cop some t-shirts. I'm gonna take you out to the website. YouTube demonetized me, so your boy broke as fuck. So if you want to help support me, hold on, let me pull this up. Oh, this is Stu's site. You can fuck with Stu too, but let me show y'all mine first. I'm the priority here, motherfucker. This is my shit. All right, so you got the Game Time tee, Game Time on the front, oversized tee, Teammacho on the back. You got the I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm not supposed to curse in the first minute, but fuck it. I'm already demonetized, niggas. Facts. So yeah, I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm a bodybuilder. Yeah, so whatever you want to fuck with it. If you don't want to fuck with it, that's okay too. All right. So yeah, like if you want, hey, if you don't even support me, if you support Kane, if you like dogs, if you want Kane to stay on his diet, you know what I'm saying, keep getting brolic, keep getting buff, fuck with some t-shirts. All right. If not, Kane gonna be hungry. I'll put the camera on him, but he's sleeping right now. They don't. That's why I said buff. I'm like, they don't know what brolic mean. If you're not from New York, you probably don't know. But anyway, support Stu as well, because he do this podcast. And I like to support my friend's business. Unlike everybody else who go rock Gucci and all that shit, I rock with my boys. So go cop Stu stuff, beefstew.net. He got the Fear the Fro shirt. That's my favorite right there, Fear the Fro Stu. And then he got this serious bodybuilding one, beef stew with the abs and thighs. Oh, he cheaper than mine. His is $28. Damn. I gotta drop my rate. I gotta match that rate. I'm motherfuckers cop my shit. But anyways, I don't want to make this too long. Teammacho.shop and beefstew.net. Fuck with your boys. Enjoy the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man.
Good.
But how about you?
I'm doing really good. I'm plugging along. I'm doing really good in the gym. You know, obviously we're always our own worst critics, but I'll tell you, she was filming me. She always like sneaky filming me, you know. So she was filming me. I was getting ready to take a shower. And I was standing in the bathroom, like naked, you know, like not paying attention to what I was doing. And she was like, "Look at this video I took of you last night." And so I was looking at it, I was like, damn, I'm getting pretty big. Like usually I hate seeing myself. The light was hitting the right way.
Yeah.
From the back, my back's looking wide. I was like, you know. Because usually all I do is stare at myself in the mirror, and I'm so much fatter than I was. You know, not fat, but for me, I stayed really lean for years. But I really think that it had to be because of all the stress from the trial.
Oh, okay, great. I felt like you stayed leaner when you were stressed, basically.
Yes, dude. I was so, bro. We would do like, you know, like we would do these random things. And I would know that it would be something where I was going to have my shirt off. And I would just like take like 20 milligram Lasix. And people would be like, damn, man, how long you been dieting for? I'm like, not at all, bro. You know, like I'm just lean, you know, like I'm lean. And now that I've been home, I eat, you know, pretty clean, bro. At least 80% clean. Yeah. And I'm doing cardio every day and I'm training hard. You know, I've come a long way, but I'm still like a lot fatter than I was before I left. I'm a good at least 10, 12 pounds fatter than I was, you know, for a few years before I left.
See, that's something I kind of think about sometimes, right? When I'm done competing, I kind of wonder like I feel like we need goals, right? Yeah. I feel like people like us need goals. So what would my goal be? Like, I would want to downsize, right? I don't think being 300 pounds is conducive to healthy lifestyle. But how does that look? Because one time I tried a downside. I got sick. I had a really bad case of pneumonia, and they basically told me don't lift or like lift really light and do a bunch of cardio. And I couldn't do it, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So, but I was also a lot younger at the time. I think now I have like some more, I guess, emotional maturity of who I am as a person, and
Mhm.
it doesn't define me. But it's not even the physical part. I think it's the mental part that makes us want to train so hard. So I don't know. You find it hard to. You already reached the pinnacle of what your physique was, right? Like
Yeah.
whatever your potential was, you already saw what that is. So now everything else compared to that is going to seem a little bit less, right?
Mhm. I think
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen to you. This is what I was going through is so once I retired from competing, I still was training hard and I was, you know, still eating, maybe not as much, but I was still eating a lot. I was just
Yeah.
taking less gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, a lot of the guys that work for me, they're like, man, I remember when I first started working for you, you were like 260 shredded. And that was like, I was retired for a few years because you don't,
Yeah.
like somebody like you're going to have to, if you want to downsize, you're going to have to really try to downsize. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not just going to happen. Like the guys that come off and they get really skinny, that blows my mind, bro. Because
Yeah.
I was talking about this with Fakri Mubrak one day back in the day, right? And he was sick and out of the gym for like 2 years. And I was like, damn, you're still so jacked, bro. And he was like, bro, I haven't worked out in like 2 years. And I'm like, that's crazy. And he goes, look, once you got like 20 years of bodybuilding behind you, you have to actually try to lose it.
Yeah. Well, you see how like Dennis Wolf, like he's gaining it back now, but he just lost all his muscle. What seemed like so fast. He,
Yep.
I do know he had the crazy metabolism from what I heard. He used to
Mhm.
have like cheat days back to back during prep,
Yeah.
right? But also he had a nerve issue. So one side of his body was shrinking anyways. So maybe that had to do with it, right? Because he couldn't actually train properly. He couldn't engage his body. So that could
How,
have been part of why,
how much did you weigh when you first started bodybuilding?
Before, let's say before my first cycle, I was maybe 220, but like kind of softish for bodybuilding. But for an average person, you wouldn't think I was soft. So
I
I was
mean,
maybe
220 for an
five.
average person is huge. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
good
was
point.
200 pounds by like sophomore year of high school, you know?
Yeah. So same here. So my first cycle, I was 19. So sophomore freshman year, I was actually 132 pounds for some reason. I don't know why. I have it at my mom's house. I have it. It was like I was 5'3", 130 some pounds. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was that small. What the fuck? Because I swear by junior year, I was already 200 pounds. Like I was about 5'8". I was about 5'8" till like I was like in my early 20s. So yeah, so 18, I was about 220, and then so I guess that's pretty heavy for a 5'8"
Mhm.
person, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like I would probably it would be harder for me to lose some size. I would get soft. I get like right now I'm on TRT, right?
Yep.
Uh, plus growth. I don't come off of growth either,
Nah, I'm
but
not gonna.
no, and my morning weight is about 298, right?
Yeah,
But my weight didn't drop. So this
yep.
time around, it went from dropping like 10 pounds like 10 years ago to dropping like 5 pounds 5 years ago. Now it doesn't drop at all when I come up. I just get softer. I just
Yeah.
don't look as impressive, you
That's
know.
what used to happen to me. I would get softer, and everybody would be like, "Bro, you look the same." I could see it. You don't have
Yeah,
that fullness either, but the weight
no.
wouldn't really come down.
Yeah, yeah. The only difference is 298 on. I would take my shirt off before. But right now, 298 off, I wouldn't take my shirt off. It's not that bad, but you know how we are mentally, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't take my shirt off. I
Yep.
was actually filming with this new videographer. He's like, let's see some poses. I'm like, I really don't want to. Let's do it in like the dark. Let me go into the dark area right there. I'd rather not. But bro, I feel like a lot has happened since we talked last in fitness and in the actual real world as well.
A
You
lot.
know,
Huh?
I guess where did we start? When was the last time you were on? You were on after the Olympia, right?
Yeah, I came on with you guys and we did that like Olympia. You know, we went over all our opinions on everything.
You're right. Okay, but you haven't been on since CBUM. Since CBUM
No.
did open. Okay. So I guess we're like a week out. I don't even know when the show is. I think it's like a week out now. And most people have him, from what I hear, like first or second.
Mhm.
What would be your thoughts on that? Is a lot of people think Akeem is doing the show, but Akeem confirmed that he's not doing Prague. He's only doing Romania. Rafa also confirmed that he's not doing, I believe, not doing Prague. So it's really him, Martin, Horse
Clarita.
MD, right? Who
Is
else?
Clarita doing?
Clarita. You're right. You're Clarita. So I would say those four. How do you see Sebum, like a fuller version of Sebum, faring in this lineup?
You know, it's you would have to agree. I'm assuming, right? The overwhelming consensus that I see on online is that he's going to go in and win the show. I personally can't see him beating Martin if Martin looks like he's supposed to look. Um, you know, outside of that, though, I think he could probably beat the rest of the guys simply because he comes in so hard and separated that I think that muscularity will make him look bigger than what the scale says. We have seen, right, Sean Clarita beat guys in the open before. We've already seen it at what, 175 pounds. I mean, whatever he is, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you're that conditioned and muscular, you can beat big guys. So him also having the height, I think that second is realistic. Now, do I think that he can go in and be a dominating open bodybuilder if it's judged the way it's supposed to be judged? No. I mean, dude, you're telling me, this is what I said to somebody the other day. I'm like, you're telling me then, right? If he beats Martin, then that means he beats Andrew Jack.
There's no way. There's no way.
Put them next to each other? No way, bro. And no disrespect, he's got an amazing physique. It's just the size, you know?
It's too overwhelming. I think a lot of bodybuilding fans don't fully understand bodybuilding, and
No.
also they haven't seen some of these people in person.
No, exactly.
You know, but both sides have a good point, because I think some of the hardcore bodybuilders maybe think Sebum is smaller than he is, maybe. Because he is a big person. Obviously, he's not as muscular as them, but he is a big person. He's a bigger person than the whole lineup besides Andrew Jackson Sampson, right? That does help a bit. But his fans think he's way too big, or think it's judged like classic. I think it's somewhere in between when it comes to regular shows. At the Olympia, size is king.
Yep.
This is why you can see somebody like Ross Flanagan or Justin Shire win a show, being not very muscular, like in comparison to the people that they beat. But at the Olympia, they go to the bottom of the pack, right? So in the regular show, I think Sebum has more than enough going for him to win an open show. Like I said, Justin Shire isn't a big guy. I mean, off season he gets pretty heavy, but like looking at him on stage, he has round muscle bellies, but he's not a big person, and he's not crazy muscular. Neither is Ross Flanagan, right?
Yeah.
And these are guys who, even Tonio in a tracksuit, I mean, he's just not a big guy, So there's something to be said about shape and muscle belly and stuff like that. So I think he's gonna look slightly bigger than bodybuilders think, but definitely smaller than his fans think he is. I still think he can win some open shows, just not against Mark Fitzwater,
Well, you remember when we actually, this is a good point. When we talked about the Classic Olympia, we talked about him and Mike the Badass, right? And we actually said Mike the Badass in some ways is sort of like Martin Fitzwater. Yeah. And now you figure, I don't know what he weighed in at. You know what I mean? What his weight class was? Is it 200 pounds? Is it 210?
Oh yeah, it might be. If he's 5'7", I believe 5'7". Shit, it might be lighter than that, which is crazy.
Yeah, but now imagine he didn't look small next to Sebum.
No, good point. Martin is about the same height. Martin is about 5'7" as well.
And what does he weigh?
At least 40 pounds over
That's what I'm
him.
saying. You put that on there, people are going to really see the density and thickness.
Yeah, I almost could say I felt like Mike the Badass looked more muscular. Well, not for sure looked rounder than Chris, but possibly look even more muscular, just a smaller frame. Yeah, he out bodybuilded him. I think he was even slightly in better condition. And Martin, Martin is carved out. So that plus 40 pounds, and then Chris maybe plus 10 pounds. You can see how, first of all, Mike, a lot of people did have Mike winning. So if you weigh that out, the density is just it's gonna be clear that this is open and this is classic,
Now, if the judges did decide that they felt that he won, nothing like this has happened in so long. It would cause such a commotion because if you think about it, the last guy that was an aesthetic, smaller size guy to win an Olympia was Chris Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I personally thought that was a really weak Olympia that year. You had like the Frank Zane years, and then after that, the guys started getting really big, This, he would be a throwback to those 70s, 80s guys, really,
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not against it as long as he looks the part, as long as it looks reasonable.
Yeah.
If it's like, oh shit, he's holding his own on his size, then anything goes because he is beating most of these guys on every other metric for the most part. Just the size is such a big difference. Besides the Olympian, I can see him beating Horse MD. I can see him beating Sean Clarita. Sean Clarita is very dense, but even compared to Keon, Sean is actually more heavily muscled than Keon, but the structural size is so much of a difference that Keon looks bigger than Sean actually. So there's no way he's going to be able to stand next to Bumstead, and like I said, I said that on a different episode, seeing Bumstead in person, it kind of made more sense. At the time, I didn't fully understand the Bumstead thing. I'm like, he doesn't really have arms. He's okay. But in person, he does look more impressive than I thought. He looks a lot bigger than I expected.
He's tall and he's broad,
Exactly. That counts for something, But beating Andrew Jack is the whole another ball game,
I mean, that's the first thing I thought of is who else is that tall? Andrew Jack. I mean, there's a whole nother world when you're talking about Andrew Jack versus.
Yeah. And then see him in person, honestly, like maybe he doesn't come across on camera, but the guy he's in shape. Like there's no question. Like he's not like, I think people think he's like not in shape. He's not Martin peeled, but he has a good dryness and pop to his muscles that like his abs are popping, his chest is striated, and he's in shape. He just doesn't have like glutes like Derek. I think that's genetic, man. But looking at him in person, I'm like, the guy's in shape. You can't be like, this guy's not in shape. You can see the hardness, the vascularity, the everything. He's not crazy separated from behind. That's about it. So yeah. So you guys see him in second?
I think second is if I were to bet, I bet on second.
It's fair, yeah. And then also at this point, this is already beat to death, but Mike and Jeff Nippert had an altercation at the gym, I think a few weeks ago. And it seemed like the general consensus is a lot of people are mad at Mike for the most part. I think some of the bodybuilders make fun of Jeff, but just kind of like trolling, but not seriously, like talking down on him. But I think his Instagram got taken down recently. Which
really?
I'm sure he was probably being mass reported. I never like to see that though. I never like to see. I think whatever the fans do is punishment enough, right? That's what I always say. So the fans fucking trolling you in the comments and spamming your content, that's already the punishment for whatever happens. So I always say, let the people decide what, like, social media doesn't have to interfere and cancel you. Let the people decide. If people want to stop buying his merch, that's their choice. Some people support him even more. Whatever people want to do, just let the people decide, But what did you think about that entire?
I can't believe, but it also shows me like how the world is now, like how much attention this got all over social media. days of videos. And it was like people are now fighting over the reactions to the videos.
How does Fuad get in trouble? He's not even part of this.
and I was laughing because so Guy Sister Nino was like, "Hey, did you see that video where Greg Duquette like talked about me over my opinion of this?" I said no. He said, "Go watch it and call me back. I'm not sure if I'm going to respond or not." So I went and I watched it, and I was laughing. He was calling him gay Sister Nino and saying,
"Whoa, take it easy."
Only famous for screaming at somebody on the hack squat. That's the only reason why anybody knew who he was. So now I thought that Greg was being hilarious. So I wanted to call Guy and tell him, don't waste your time with the retaliation video. You're going to make it all into so much more than it is. But I got sidetracked. So by the time I came back around, Guy had already done this video, and he was like swearing and going at it with everybody. So I'm like, I can't believe this thing turned into all that. My whole thing is this. So I'm going to give my 2 cents on it. One, for me, the kind of person I am, unless you're attacking my mom or my wife or my own life, nothing's going to make me put my hands on you. I mean, I've had people do crazy shit to me before. I had a girl and a guy get together and post videos of my dick that I had to try to spend thousands of dollars to get taken off of the internet that everybody saw. And
you should have just posted like a different one, like oh, this one is better, guy. If you want a better angle.
I was like, damn, they had to get me one when I was flaccid too.
Come on, man, you can't do that.
Cool, right? But I wasn't like, well, I'm gonna go and like assault this person. Yeah. So I got on one hand, I say, really shouldn't be putting your hands on somebody. Now, I also, even though people can't stand Wes Watson, he made a very good point, and perhaps I feel this way because I was in prison. There's a lot of mother effers out there that don't care about consequences. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to run your mouth, you got to be prepared that some crazy stuff can go down. Some dude that doesn't care about consequences, that doesn't care about jail, that doesn't care about what happens, might put his hand on you, and you should probably be prepared for that. And if you're not going to be prepared for that, well, then maybe you should steer clear of guys like that. So, for me, don't put your hands on anybody. But at the same time, if you know that somebody may have an issue with you, the better thing to do is just stay away from that person. Instead, when watching the whole video, you see he told his guy, film me, we're going to go over here now. Does that make it right? No, but it almost seems like he was provoking at that point. So, personally, I can tell you this. Me and Guy got into it when we were young men in the gym, and I literally like choke slammed him in the gym over a girl. It was bad. Yeah. And he got up and he was like, "What are you going to do? Punch me in the face? I won't fight you. You're my friend. I won't fight you." Like, I snapped on him. And I went outside and we made up within an hour. And then I trained him for a show that he won right after that. There was no social media. There was none of this stuff. You know what I mean? So if they had seen that, they would have been giving me the Mike, Van Wyck treatment, So
sure. I think maybe a lot of people are a lot more sheltered than we realize. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, this is just a normal occurrence in the Bronx, right? It's like, I mean, in most places, it's like men do fight. Even like you just said, literally friends fight. Yeah. And there's usually before there was nobody. Okay, they will never make up now because it made all these rounds and became and affected his business and all this stuff. But imagine if there was no cameras and he did that, and Jeff probably wouldn't feel embarrassed or felt like he had to do anything legally. So, Jeff might react different, and they might literally go outside and make up. The gym, you know how it goes. The gym breaks it up. Mm-hmm. They come back the next day, but people cool down. They're like, bro, it wasn't even that serious, and they literally might make up and be friends. Some of the best friendships started off as fights or like not liking each other, you know. So but because of social media, it became something so big that there's no way they could sit and talk now, you know. And even him getting arrested. This is like to get arrested for pushing somebody. Yes, was it a hard push? Yes, did he fall? Yes, could he have gotten hurt? I mean, sure, but it was still a push, you know.
Oh.
So I honestly thought it was funny when I first saw it. Oh, this is kind of hilarious. But then the way everybody else reacted to it, I'm like, oh, I didn't expect it to be that serious, right?
No. Mm-mm.
And I could see both sides, right? Mike is in the wrong legally, and even morally, you could say he's in the wrong because okay, initially I'm like, he must have said something crazy. But when I watched the video, I'm like, oh no, that was actually pretty chill. That's the only reason why I think Mike is in the wrong. Now, if Mike called him gay or out of his name, like you said, like Greg does, right?
Yeah.
Then I could be like you said, me personally, I'm not gonna put hands on you from words, but there are people who will. Mm-hmm. You know, and if Guy runs into Greg, Guy might have some words for him. Right? Yeah. What I will do is talk though. If you call me on my name, I might have to like check you. You know? If you know, I guess it depends because Greg. Sometimes I'm like, it's a character. It's not the real him. Because like I've had interactions with him. I'm like, oh, this is a pretty nice guy, and I've seen him with other people, and I feel like he knows what makes money. So it's a character, right? Is he really like that? Probably not. But you still said it though. You can't just say, no, it's just a character, bro. I love you, bro, and then call you gay. Let's just, you know. So I don't know. Yeah, social media in general. I think if you make reaction videos or videos about other people, like a Greg, you have to be ready for the consequences because they can't. Like Nick Trigili doesn't go to expos, right? There's probably a reason for that, right? Because there's a lot of people who don't like him who have some kind of event, you know. So you do have to be careful. Either be able to protect yourself or just don't talk about other people because some people don't give a fuck. You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last time I was at an event with Nick was actually when Keon won the New York Pro.
Oh, that was a while back.
Yeah, that was the last time I was at an event where he was at that I can remember.
Yeah. Now most people aren't actually about that life. Like most people wouldn't put their hands on Nick Trigili, but there's gonna be probably one out of the bunch.
Well, it's like remember when Kenny KO called out the girl with the 45-pound plates for being and then what's his name Real World Tactical like was in his face like I was like, man, this could have ended really bad for Kenny.
You don't want to fight. You don't want to fight that guy. You don't want to fight. No, but I think what helps Kenny, he's actually like a gentle guy. Like when he's talking to you, he's never like, "Hey, fuck out of here." Man. He's actually really chill and calm. So I think he doesn't provoke people. It might look like he's provoking people with some of the questions he has, but he's so calm and chill about it that it's hard to like feel aggressive towards somebody that calm. Now, if he was in the guy's face, he probably would have got he probably would have got knocked out. If he was
that's the last guy you want to be getting in.
No. But like you said, there's something to be said about like growing up, right? If you knew this guy was that guy that you don't fuck with, you steer clear of him. I don't care if he whispers something to you at the gym. It's like fucking Mike Tyson's whispers something at the gym. You don't say shit back. Put your head down and fucking work out. You know? You heard the story when Mike Tyson smacked Chris Cormier and he turned around and it was Tyson. And you're like,
yeah, I remember Chris told me that story. Yeah.
You just take the slap. You know? It doesn't make you pussy. Like it makes you smart, motherfucker.
Yeah, it makes you smart.
Exactly. So in that situation, if you feel like you're outmanned to the point that you don't feel comfortable defending yourself, you gotta just leave it alone. You gotta leave it alone. So don't walk toward him. Don't film him. Just put your head down and finish your curls.
It's hard for me to understand without. I don't know if there's more to it than this. What made him angry over that video, though?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I would think that they go to the same gym already. I would think that they really just didn't like each other to begin with.
Yeah,
you know, they were to begin with. So Yeah. So in other news, we have a new president
I know.
that
God
apparently has
bless
people
America.
that apparently has people crying on social media.
And there's so much crying on social media. I saw Andy Frisella posted something that said he doesn't think that what we're seeing right now is all we're going to see. He said, I find it very hard to believe that the Democratic Party that's done all this other stuff is just like, okay, we're going to help you easily get into office. That he thinks either it's possible that maybe they're just terrified of what Trump's going to do now, or they have some other crazy move up their sleeve, and we should be ready because we have until January before he actually gets in there. So
You feel like they're taking it too well, right? It's too peaceful.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
When did politics become like WWE? Is what
I don't know. It's crazy. This year was crazy, and it's like, what, what world are a lot of these people living in where they were crying like that they've lost all their rights and that the world is over and everything else the next day? Hold on one second.
Your dog?
No, there's somebody's phone. Marissa's parents are here. Whatever.
Do your thing. Yeah.
No, it's all right. The phone was ringing, but it's like, man, your life's not going to change that much, and if anything, the economy is going to get better, and it's a beautiful thing for all of us.
I think a lot of it is a lack of perspective. I think there's people who are, like we just said earlier, very sheltered, who honestly think like we're living in Iraq or something.
Yeah.
Like they don't realize how good they have it.
They don't.
I really feel like that because I mean it's not that deep. Even if you're passionate about politics and like just preserving your rights and shit like that, that's fine, right? Like you're just passionate about your country, stuff like that. But when it's like other people's opinions, like people were losing thousands of followers.
Yeah.
What's the guy? Danny Swole. Is that his name? Danny Swole. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Like, and he's like the nicest guy, and he's not even trying to be polarizing. Just like a American flag outfit and stuff, and it just really just he like at least I don't know him in person online. He's like the nicest guy ever, and then he's getting blasted. I'm like, so all of a sudden you hate the guy because he loves his country. It sounds crazy. The idea sounds crazy.
This happened in 2020, and some of the people that work for me were, at the time, there was a much larger group of guys working at Blackstone Labs. And I had a group of guys that were like young, like liberal guys. And they were my like tech guys, really, obviously. And so I have always been, a fan of Trump before any of the presidential shit. I always just liked what he was about. And so I was very open with the Trump stuff, and we got shadow banned a couple times, and it was actually, I didn't realize it, but it was pissing them off. And so they were really like going to my vice president like, man, can you tell PGA to like stop, like, with the Trump support and this and that. And I realized, though, and this is me in my personal situation, so I don't tell people to always just take my advice, but I realized that Blackstone Labs customer base is greatly conservative, pro-America, pro-gun. And so when I decided to not back down and speak out more, our sales started getting better. We had people reaching out to us saying, especially when I was like back the blue, when I was getting behind the police, a lot of people don't like that, but our sales were actually going up, not down. So people were like, you're going to lose customers. I'm like, actually, we're doing better than we have in a long time. So if the country is going to be divided no matter what, which is unfortunately, you can take zero stance, right? And try to just, win over as many people as you can, or you can take a firm stance in your beliefs, and that half of the country, you'll be able to draw from a lot of people there because they really appreciate people that will stand for something. And now
Yeah.
we realize that it's actually more than half the country. And I believe that this now is going to set a very slow and steady tone of, I think it's going to be a very long time before there's, a Democrat that comes in there, unless it's like Michelle Obama and she's got the whole like woman aspect of it that can really, garner attention like that again, because you have the House, the Senate, the popular vote. I mean, everything went in the direction of the Conservative Party and Donald Trump right now. So,
See, when it comes to decision making, I'm big on using facts and not emotion, actually.
mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of invoking emotion in politics now, and I don't think you should vote by emotion. I think you should vote by your morals, like what's your moral stance, right? But I think they've learned that if you can evoke emotion, like you just said, let's say if I guess it happened with Kamala, right? It's emotion, like, oh wow, she's a woman, okay, dope. But I don't think it should be based off emotion. I think it should be based off, okay, what is she actually doing, or what is she actually going to do, or what's her track record, But I don't think people want to think that way, because most people, I don't think, have any idea what the fuck is going on in the world besides their own needs to see somebody they want. They have this emotional attachment to.
I think that COVID really changed the world a lot because, and I can't even, I was talking about this with somebody in my Q&A the other day. I can't get mad at people for acting very crazy because a lot of people only watch CNN, for instance, right? And if that's the only news that you get, right? Especially during the pandemic, you're trapped in the house. They're telling everybody's dying and this and that. And it's like you're freaking out, right? So if that's all it's going to really change your mindset towards things. But then you look at a situation like where I was in Florida, right? I mean, it was like pretty normal down here the whole time. And I personally chose to not really watch too much of the news. Now, when I do watch news, I prefer Fox News, but I also know that that's a biased news also. So I can only take what they say with a grain of salt. So I think people have been really molded by the media, and that's why we see a lot of what we see right now. I still think it's a lot of crazy, but
just basically what you said, right? Just having the awareness to be like, to think freely is all that you need. That's all you need. And if you can legitimately back up whoever you choose to vote for, perfect. Like, if that's what speaks to you and your morals, perfect. It's just not what people are doing, and people are okay being biased. See, you recognize that even though you're conservative, you understand that Fox is still biased. Whereas some people just no, it's just the CNN is just right. So I think just understanding that is fine. Even if you choose to vote for whoever you choose to vote for, as long as you understand biasness, and this is coming from yourself and not celebrities endorsing this person or this, that's where it gets silly. And I almost feel like that shouldn't even be a thing. Why are we trying to influence other people? Why don't you just do what you want to do? Why do So like making your, like, choosing your stance as a politician is one thing. Okay, this is what I am. This is what I do. But why do we have to involve celebrities and all this shit? Like, what's the point?
I think that they were really throwing a lot of desperation plays up on Kamala's side. But I talked about this with my good friend Billy. I think that Kamala in many ways lost the election because she didn't come out with a strong sense of what her policies were going to be, what she was going to implement. It was all just, I'm not Donald Trump. Let's anti-Trump. counting on all the people that hate Trump. But
Yeah.
what happened was, if you look at all the stats now, the gap in race was way smaller this year between who got the black vote. The Latino vote was super high for Trump this year. So all those gaps were closed down now. So a lot less people hate Trump, because I
Yeah,
think a lot of people are fed up now.
yeah. You never want to bank on the hate of somebody else in order to get votes or sales.
Nope.
Right.
I think she should have tried to really, it's I'm not playing armchair quarterback now, but I think she should have tried to take the high ground with that
Yeah,
and
yeah.
separate herself where that doesn't matter to me. Here's what I'm going to do instead of going back. Because it's almost like Trump wants that. He wants to get into those fighting matches with you,
Yeah, because he knows he's not going to lose that.
No, I know.
I mean, Trump was literally in the WWE for a while. He was on and off for a while. He has that he has that trait that he can be a showman and he can do that and he can cut deep. So you probably don't want to get into those kind of battles with him. But like you said, if you played if he looked like he was bullying her, that might have played in her favor. If she was like, no.
Yep.
I'm sure he's a great guy, whatever, and then it would make him look bad, like, oh, why are you bullying this girl? You know what I mean? But so you don't want to go back and forth with him. So I think the country's gonna do great. Personally, I hope so, but I do believe so. I do believe so.
I think we'll see the economy improve. The stock market blew up the next day. I'm really, I'm very hopeful about RFK and his position with the FDA, because honestly, man, if what he's saying that he wants to do with the FDA, had they done that 4 years ago, Singerman and I probably wouldn't have gone to prison, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because those guys went on a witch hunt, over dietary supplements on us. So, if he really is going to go in there and fire the whole FDA and put brand new people in there, I mean, I'm all for that, because outside of the IRS, the FDA is the most corrupt organization that there is.
I bet. Yeah. So, I actually like him, man. But the independent thing, I don't think anybody's gonna. That's never gonna work. That's never gonna work. Independent are usually, I would say, are usually somewhere towards the middle, but usually right leaning.
Yeah,
because they think freely, right? And conservatives usually think a little bit more freely, And I just look. Apparently, I lost a bunch of followers too. I don't remember even speaking on politics, but I'm sure everybody has some correlation.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even look and see if I lost followers or not. I did see one guy was very upset in the video that I put out, and I was very polite with him, because he took a shot at me, and then a bunch of guys, of course, started attacking him. But he was like, "Oh, of course, a felon would vote for another felon," and I'm like, "You're right. I mean, yeah, you're right, but there's a lot more to it than that,
Yeah. To be honest, I don't even like to identify with a specific side, just because I feel like people. Okay, I believe in standing your ground and picking, but I just go for what my morals are, know. So instead of, because I feel like the dangerous part of, if you're too committed to one particular side, then maybe sometimes you don't recognize the right or wrongs from either side, because you're so bent on just no, this side is always right. So I try to always just think freely. My values just align more with conservative. That's it. It's not like a big thing for me. Like this is what I am. If it's not a team sport, I'm not into it like that. And the government, it's still the government. It's still one fucking government at the end of the day. Yep. So I just try to go with whoever I feel like aligns more with my morals. It is what it is.
For me, one of the things that I really didn't like, well, there's a lot of things that I didn't like on Kamala Harris' side, but I was very turned off to her position towards, specifically towards Catholics and Christians, because personally, like, just because I believe in Jesus, right? I don't push that on anybody, but that's like important to me. In prison, I had brothers that were Muslim, but we would never talk bad about each other's
No,
religion,
you
and
can.
seeing some of the things that came out of her mouth, like, I understand trying to get that abortion like group on your side, but I thought a lot of it was just done in poor taste. And to
Yeah,
me, that was a major turnoff for me.
yeah. You don't have to put something down to get your point across.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue that a lot of people do. They feel like you just said, if you guys whining, if you support, it's not one the same. Let's say you support cops, right?
Mhm.
Like some people feel like, well, if you support cops, that means you don't like black people, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
what the fuck? What does you realize there's black cops, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is
Mhm.
so like I think people feel like if you take it or like if you're let's say if you like Trump, even some people say that they like Trump, they're not even into politics. Like I've heard what's the guy Steve will do it. He said, yo, I don't care to vote or anything like that. I just like the guy. Meaning nothing to do with politics, right?
Yeah.
But they feel like, oh, that means you hate gay people and you hate like what the bro? What are you talking about? Just relax. I just like a person. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the guy is doing. I just like the person, But I think they feel like you have to hate something to like something. You can support cops and black people. What like one is a job and one is a
Yeah.
race. Like
Yeah.
they're not like interchangeable. Like one or the other.
I mean, any chance that you can get to say racist is huge nowadays in this country.
Yeah,
So racist,
but
homophobe, anything I mean, basically, if you're conservative, you hate gay people, you hate trans, you hate black people.
yeah.
But now, with the staggering Latino vote, now it's because Latinos hate black people now too. They all voted for Trump. I mean, this is all the stuff that's been out on CNN the past few days too, which is crazy.
Most it seems like a lot of people in fitness and bodybuilding are either conservative or right leaning.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the most like open minded people I've ever known, like no, I don't know, I don't know anybody like in my circle or even my bigger circle that hates anybody, bro. Like
No.
you
Why do you
know
think that majority of bodybuilders end up being conservative?
that's the interesting one. Honestly, my only theory is that the like most of us probably are hard workers or maybe came from some kind of background of working hard, and just that mindset alone. Or some of us maybe come from even if we're not religious at the moment, we come
Mhm.
from some kind of religious family. It seems like it draws hardworking people are drawn to the right for some reason. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
was
I kind
asked
of like.
in my Q&A if I could think of a big name bodybuilder that wasn't for Trump, and I was like, man, I couldn't think of anybody. And then the next day, that same guy said he searched all day, and he said that Sergio used to be conservative, but I guess because of Trump's position with the police and everything, made him go the other way. But I have never
Mhm.
actually talked about it with Sergio.
Yeah, I don't have to. You know what? I take that back. I said hardworking people. No, I have clients that are liberal that are hardworking. I don't know, man. I got to be honest. I have no idea. It seemed like almost everybody across the boards is conservative. I don't. Yeah, I don't really know anybody who's not in bodybuilding and fitness. I don't. Something about bodybuilding, maybe because we take gear. I don't fucking know, man.
I'll tell you this. Here's something that's interesting. So in my Q&A, I had and I know the girl. I know it who is trans
Mhm.
and still voted for Trump.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Uh, uh, Born a man, trans, actually competed in figure, and was like, I'm PJ knows that I'm trans. We've met before. He's been kind of me. We're cool, and I voted for Trump. That's my position on it because I want what's best for the country. Well, thank you for coming out and saying that in
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So just because you're trans doesn't mean you have to be liberal either. Although it's more common,
Mhm.
obviously.
No, man. I live in West Hollywood, and obviously they're the huge gay,
Oh yeah.
especially gay males in particular, gay male
Hmm.
demographic. But I think people would assume they're liberal, but these are also people who are into fitness. So once again, a lot of these people are bodybuilder into fitness. For some reason, it just they lean right. They lean
Yeah.
right. Because like I said, if you're a free thinker, it's not you're not taking everything so personal.
Hmm.
It's not such an emotional decision. Oh, what he doesn't like. I mean, we can't even assume who likes or doesn't like the LGBT community because what you say and how it's you don't really know these people at all, and you
No.
don't have to. These are not your friends. This is the whoever is fit for the job. Forget about your emotional, connection to these people. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
we don't know what any of them think. We don't know who's racist, who's not. We don't really know. We don't really know. And honestly, like it might sound fucked up, but I don't even care. I
No,
just
I don't care.
who's more fit to run the job? Like you're not my friend, right? I mean, if you're my friend, I probably would like to know if you're decent, But
Mhm.
as long as you do your job well, I don't. Okay, I just do your job. I guess I don't fucking. I don't think that deeply. We're not hanging out with these people. They're not our friends.
I've personally never seen a conservative lose their shit and not want to talk to somebody over not being a conservative. But you see liberals, man, they see that hat go crazy. They friendships are ruined. I mean,
It's
that's just
over
so
here.
bizarre to me.
Yeah. If somebody posted right now, oh man, I'm so mad Trump won. You're not gonna go unfollow them. Like I don't. I actually saw a lot of that. I mean, I don't. I don't feel anything whatsoever. If whatever you feel is the right choice for you, do your thing. Just do your
Yeah.
thing. Just make it your choice. Is all I would ask. Don't make it
Yeah.
somebody else's influence on you. You know. All right. We want to do a few questions.
Sure.
Are you good? How long we been on? About an hour.
Yeah, about an
Hour.
hour.
Okay. Let's see if we got some
45
questions.
minutes, about really? 50 minutes?
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna
Hey,
see
you know
what.
what?
Huh?
So I did Ron Harris's podcast
Uh-huh.
on Tuesday, had a nice time,
Uh-huh.
and I got invited by Strand Strong, Robin Strang, to do his
Yeah,
podcast.
I like the guy.
And I said, yeah, I'd love to come on, when you want to do it. He said, how about Thursday, 5 o'clock? I said,
Okay.
sure. Here's my phone number. Reach out to me anytime. So 5 o'clock came yesterday. I sat here in front of my computer the way I am right now. 5:02. I was like, hey, are we still on? Never heard back from him. Still haven't heard back from him.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it like a time mix-up? Maybe.
I don't think so. I think he's in the same time zone as me. So,
Huh.
yeah, I don't
That's
know.
it. When it comes to vibe, I feel like I'm usually the one that flakes on him by accident, at
Really?
least.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's cool. Like, it's not like I got a ton of stuff going on right now anyway with all my restrictions, but
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
don't.
still
Yeah.
haven't heard from him yet. 24 hours later.
Hopefully he's okay. Shit.
Well, I've seen
Robin,
his
if
post in
you're
his
okay.
story. I went and
Oh,
checked
okay.
though. I was
He's
like
alive.
I was asking certain people today, and they were like, "Well, it might be because we don't think he's going to stay with Blackstone Labs." And I'm like, well, "What does that have to do with me? I'm not a part of Blackstone." You know what I mean?
Oh,
That
okay.
literally has
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
to do with me.
Maybe he felt uncomfortable. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to them today about it. I was like, okay.
PJ don't give a shit about any of
Oh,
that. All right, let's see what we got. I'm gonna see what kind of guy you are, PJ.
do it.
Uh, pumpkin pie versus apple pie.
Oof. You know, I love pumpkin flavored shit around this time of year. Like Marissa's got a pumpkin creamer for the coffee, but I'm not that big of a pie guy. I think I go with the apple pie.
The apple pie just seems more classic to me.
Yeah, it's basic. You know
You
what I mean?
know,
You can't go wrong.
yeah. If it's nice and warm with a scoop of vanilla,
Ice cream, yes.
oh, you get to go. Pumpkin, yeah, I'm into pumpkin flavored shit. Just for some reason, only around this time, but it's not only time you really get it, anyways. But
Yeah.
around this time, I like pumpkin flavored shit. But pumpkin pie in particular, I mean, it's fine. Nothing
We,
special.
we did a pumpkin flavored protein one year at Blackstone around this
Oh
time of year.
shit.
It was good. They did a really good job with it.
Oh, you reminded me. My shipment it says delivered, but I haven't got it. It might be downstairs somewhere. I gotta go check. Yeah, I got some. I think it was a cereal flavored
Oh,
isolation,
that's good. Yeah, yeah,
and I never tried that one yet. I want
yeah.
to try
Very
that.
good. You'll like it.
Perfect, perfect. All right. Holiday questions. Favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Um.
Vagina.
So growing up, my family knew that I wasn't all that crazy about turkey. So my grandma always made like a big spiral ham,
Ooh,
and I really like the baked ham. I like stuffing. You
yeah.
know,
You
bro,
call it
I'm
stuffing too.
I'm a bodybuilder every day of the year, so like I'll always eat the same shit. You know,
Yeah, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
I've never had ham actually. Like,
Really?
yeah, I grew up Muslim, remember? So
Oh, that's
we didn't
right.
have, and I mean, I've had like bacon. I've
Bacon's
had
good.
I've had pork by accident sometimes. You know, if you if you're dating like a Latina girl, you got to ask what the meat is because it might be pork. I was like, this tastes different.
Yeah.
It's pork. I was like, well. I'm not against eating it, but my palate isn't accustomed to it. So I'm like,
It's different. Bacon
yeah,
is
yeah,
good though.
yeah, yeah. I like I like bacon. Ham. I'm not really. I have no desire to try it, but I would, I guess,
I mean, I would rather have bacon than ham, but it's a nice
for
change over
sure.
turkey. Turkey's just dry, you know. You
Exactly,
could make it
exactly.
good. I deep fried a turkey one year and it was pretty good.
Yeah, my brother-in-law did that as well. Are you a cranberry sauce guy or what's the other one called the jellied one?
I like the jelly.
Like jelly?
Yeah.
It's too mushy for me. I want some bits of cranberry in this
So you're
shit.
a texture. Texture is important to you.
Yeah, texture is my
Would
thing.
you ever be able to drink these like nasty tuna shakes and stuff that like some of the guys drink? There's no way I would ever be able to do that.
No, if protein shakes didn't exist, maybe, and I had no choice, I couldn't get the food down. Well, you could do egg whites and oatmeal.
I've drank Ed Whites, but I watched Marcus Rule do this video where it's like tuna and a bunch of other stuff in a blender, and he would drink it like that. And I was like, ugh, there's no way I'd be able to do that.
I seen him do that with herbs, but honestly, I'm not sure why he did it. He seemed like he liked the taste though, which is
Yeah,
weird.
strange.
Because I can't see any other reason doing it other than you kind of like it. Because there's so many other choices. Like, why would you do that? You know? Oh man, I know Sean Roden did it one year, but he had jaw surgery or some shit. I don't
Yeah,
know, some shit.
well, no
Yeah.
choice in that situation, you know.
Yeah, that's if I have no choice, I would. But I mean, damn, I don't want to make prep miserable. I don't want to make bodybuilders miserable.
Oh,
I want to make it fun, man. All right. Oh shit. Oh, okay. What is one of your favorite gifts as a kid you got on Christmas? This is holiday fucking special here.
um,
It's hard to remember. I don't know.
yeah. If I go way far back, and my memory is not that good, but I saw a picture of it actually. My sister gave me all these pictures of when we were kids. I got the castle Grayskull, like the actual castle from He-Man, and back then that was like the most gangster ass thing that you could have. You had the actual castle
Yeah.
itself, all the little He-Man toys. That was an awesome one. Once I figured out how things work, I figured it out at a young age, way before my sisters and my brother.
Mhm.
I started asking for cash. Give me cash. The people that gave me cash, then I could go and do whatever I want. That was the best presents for me after that.
Cash is so simple, but it's the best thing, man.
The best, man. My mom would be like, "Your grandma is not going to give you cash." I'm like, "Please just tell her to give me cash, mom." You know, so by like seventh, eighth grade, I had already figured that out.
My mom actually prefers cash too, but it works perfectly because I think it makes it easier for me.
Yeah.
Just send her some cash.
Yeah.
I don't have to think this elaborate plan of how I'm going to do this. She loves it. It's simple for me. Easy.
I don't know about
Never
you.
does.
I try to make the gift be like the best gift, and I stress myself out over it. Like,
It's
I
that
want to give
simple.
you a gift that you love and that's different. And next thing I know, I'm like, I'm stressing myself out. So if you're like, man, I just rather have cash, by all
Yeah.
means.
All that shit stresses me out. Even like rings. At one point, I was looking for a ring for my ex, right? And that
Mhm.
whole shit just stresses me out, bro. It stresses me
Yeah.
out so much. I don't know. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. So I like overthink it.
Yeah, me
Overthink.
too. I'm the same
Hmm.
way.
All right. Always, huh? Wait, what? Ejection. Always ejection fraction of 50. Always had an ejection fraction of 50, but it didn't budge from bodybuilding over the last 8 years. Would you worry?
As far as his heart goes, I mean, if it hasn't budged in 8 years, I'd still be concerned about
Well,
it.
I guess that's like saying, I got diabetes, but bodybuilding didn't make it worse. And it's like
Yeah.
it's irrelevant what bodybuilding did for it. I mean, I guess 50 isn't low. 50 isn't low though, right? Because it's like the range would be like what 55 would be great.
Why doesn't he go and go see a cardiologist and just get a full? When I retired, I was nervous. I was like, I kept getting panic attacks back then. So I thought I was having heart attacks all the time. So I went to a cardiologist and I did everything, stress test. I wore a monitor for 24 hours, EKG, everything. And he was like, honestly, man, he was like, you're in great shape. He was a dick because he didn't help me with my anxiety, because before I left, he said, but all those steroids, man, they could catch up to you at any time. So I knew I was good that day, but I still had it in the back of my mind, could have come back. But go to a cardiologist and get a full, for your own sake. You know what else you can go do? Like my buddy Guy, his sister Nino, he went and he had a bad calcium score, so he went and he got a angiogram, which I think is something great, that people can go and do and go see how everything is looking on the inside there.
So okay, is this only me or does everybody feel like this? Every single time I get blood work, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is gonna be the time that my fucking creatinine is gonna be 80, and I'm gonna be in stage 10 kidney failure. Or like cardiologist. I haven't actually saw my cardiologist now for a little bit, but at one point after I had pneumonia, I was seeing him like I don't know 3, 4 times a year, sometimes more. Every time I go, I'm like, they're gonna tell me that's it. They're gonna put a stent in my heart. They're gonna give me a fucking defib. It's over for me. It's over. Every time I go, I have this fear that I'm dying. Every
Yeah,
single time, I'm like, you can't live like that.
no, I had a lot of that for a while too. It's when I was bodybuilding, I wasn't afraid of shit. It wasn't until I was retired. When I retired, and then a lot of people that I knew started passing away, then I started getting really scared. Like, did I get out in time? Am I okay?
Yeah,
Uh, but I'll tell you now, I always tell people, man, just go. If you have concerns, go in and get all that stuff checked out. It makes you feel better after. Like when I got a 0 calcium score, I was very happy. And then, of course, people are like, well, that doesn't tell you everything. You got to go get.
bro.
I'm like, that's one more good one that I could just check off. You know what I mean?
No matter what you do, if right now you posted ejection fraction, you posted blood work, you post a fucking full body MRI, they're gonna be like, that don't mean anything. Tomorrow you can still have a fucking you know what I mean? Like a brain aneurysm and die. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm doing my best here, motherfucker. Like, what you want me to do? I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not God. I'm not trying to play God. I'm just trying my best, but I see people post their blood pressure, just like a friendly post. Okay, yeah, you can beat 300 pounds. It doesn't mean anything. You probably still have dying, and like that's not the point. The point I'm just showing that you can have a healthy level of. I
Hmm.
think people get like a hard on about bodybuilders dying. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Hmm.
But that Dallas made me nervous, and then it was like George Peterson, Sean Roden, Cedric. Then I'm like, oh fuck, man. I'm looking at.
That
I'm
was
going
a
to
really
sleep.
intense time.
Yeah, and I'm because it's like you feel like for whatever reason our brain feels like these people are invincible, right? Like
Yep.
they don't die. It's just people, just random people die. But these people, they don't die. These kind of people don't die. Yeah, shit, motherfucker. Everybody dies.
The George Peterson one, the timing of that one like really like broke my heart too because I was at the Olympia and his coach Justin, like when I saw him, he was like I was trying to wake him up and I couldn't wake him up, and I was like, dude, it messed me up really really bad. Like,
Oh, in real time. We spoke to him like
yeah,
right after. Oh no,
yeah,
he was probably fucked up.
yeah, and man, and like I haven't lost touch with Justin over the years, but like he loved George, man. Like they were close, bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so to find him like that, and then of course, everybody is going to be like, oh, well, you're his coach, you're responsible, this and
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And man, I felt like devastated for that whole thing because Justin loved him. They were good. They were real tight. That was a sad. It
Really
seemed
sad,
like
yeah.
there was a lot that happened at once during that time period.
Yes, so much. I think that kind of had me a little like a bit nervous to the point I'm like, okay, what are we really doing here? Especially like at nighttime when I smoke and I'm sitting there high, I'm like, bro, what the fuck am I doing? Why,
Yeah,
why the
that's what
fuck?
of course you're gonna do it when you're smoking.
I'm like, oh, I can't breathe. I'm too big. Oh, I got it. I'm dropping the calories tomorrow. This motherfucker. That's why.
It's funny because now that I'm in this opposite phase now, where almost every morning when I'm in the gym training, I'm like, man, I need to slam like 750 makes a test and just start getting big. My blood works good. I made it out, but then I usually wind up talking myself out of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a balance, man. There was this guy that used to go to Gold's Venice. He went and did whether it's ayahuasca or DMT. I'm not. I don't know what is what. I just know it's a psychedelic, right?
Yeah.
And he did it, and then I see him like a couple months later. He got all these tattoos. He lost all his muscle. He was so relaxed. I'm like, hey, everything okay? Yeah, I stopped bodybuilding now. I think he was selling weed, or I forgot what, like legally, not like on the
Yeah.
on the block. He had like a marijuana business or whatever the case is. And I'm like, wow, what happened? He's like, I just I felt like it wasn't worth it in the whole nine. And I'm like, I feel like that would happen to everybody, but I feel like most of us, if we did ayahuasca, we would be like, why the fuck am I doing this?
I remember when
Because
Columbo went and did that stuff. He loved it.
Well, because it's like you really can't justify body, but we do it because we love it. You can't
Yeah.
justify it. Can't justify it financially. You can't justify it
Yeah.
health wise. So if you really get that clear and look at yourself from the outside in, the way from what I hear it does, most of us would probably quit. So I actually wanted to do that, but I'm like, let me hold off a couple of years. I'm gonna be like, fuck the podcast, fuck this. I'm about to go to Thailand.
Until you're
Yeah,
retired.
I'm gonna go to Thailand and be a monk or something. So I gotta hold up. I want to enjoy more of my life before I take a hard look at myself. Right now I could justify my actions to a point.
You're still very young.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I feel like I'm not ready for that chapter yet.
Wow. You
I
might
gotta
think
hold up.
you're Uncle Beatty, but you're still very young.
Yeah, yeah, man. All right. Let's see. Wait, what? Carpool. All right. Oh shit! I lost the damn. Let me see something.
How's your
How you doing
dog?
today? Oh, he's doing okay. He's taking a nap now. He
Yeah, my
got
dog's
bored.
snapping
I
over there
wasn't playing.
too.
He got bored. I wasn't playing with him. He needs
And
so much. He needs so much attention that I'm like, I feel like he needs like a dog friend. That's
yeah,
it.
I mean, I did that for Jack when he was little. I got him Reese so they could do everything together. Um,
Yeah,
but that's just more work for you too.
yeah, that's the thing. That is gonna be more work. Unless it's already like a grown trained dog. I don't know. Like a rescue, but they might be trained in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Start fucking,
Mhm.
start fighting them and shit. All right, let's do like one more. Gotta go eat. I still haven't had meal one, bro.
Really?
Yeah, man. I don't have the biggest appetite, but I can. My food isn't crazy high, at least for me, right? Let's say it's like 3,500,
Yeah.
something like that. Or maybe 4,000. I can get these meals in a hurry. Like, I can get 4 meals in within like 8 hours. Like, I can eat
Yeah.
every hour and a half if I want to.
I mean, that's basically how I am now. I fast until 2 or 3 o'clock, and then I get 4 or 5 meals in 8 hours. And I know that I'm not going to get jacked doing that, but I really want to get super lean first. But I just don't want to. I'm not trying to contest diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I'm going to just keep on training really hard, keep the volume up, and get there like that.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, but I think that for me, I hit this weird spot like when I was competing that I had to eat like crazy to keep size on, and I'm not like that anymore.
It's weird how that happens. The
You know
last
who,
off
who told
season,
me that? Nick Trigili said, because Nick, he downsized a lot, right?
he did, yeah.
And all of a sudden he started getting bigger again. And I was like, dude, you're starting to get pretty big again. And he was like, I know I might chill out a little bit with it. He's like, I'm only eating like one more meal, but his body is just hyper responsive to the food.
For sure. The last off season, I only had 3 meals. The last off season, but I'm not gonna do that because, well, then when I go in prep, I have to eat even less, right? So
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. And
Yeah.
I was pretty much 300 on a dot last year off season, and this year I'm already there now. So I do want to put on more tissue for stage, so I'm gonna push the food. But I don't need food to be heavy. But to progress, I think I still need the food, especially to keep my metabolism in a place where I don't have to do 3 hours of cardio to fucking get in shape.
That's the worst.
So
How tall are you?
5'11".
Yeah, I'm 5'10" and a half. So you're a little taller than me. That's a lot of weight to carry.
Yeah, yeah. But honestly, I don't feel it at all. I feel like I'm 200 pounds. I feel the same. I feel the way. Now I can be this. If I could be the same, I can be the same weight, but loaded on gear, and I feel heavier because you're so saturated, right? You feel like you can't breathe, But
I saw
on
you were doing I think you were doing back like pull downs or something.
Mhm.
You don't look any smaller. You just look a little less full. Like you're like not
Yeah,
maybe as hard. Maybe you know what I mean. Like you still look
exactly.
huge. You look lean actually.
But like, it's not pushing against the skin the same.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Hmm.
hmm But like the way I feel much better now at the same weight off. When I'm not off, but you know what I mean. The same weight now on cruise, I feel so much better now. Like I don't feel the pressure. I don't feel like
Yeah.
bound up. I don't
How long are
feel
you
like
gonna cruise for?
it's been what's the day? It's been I got one more week technically. It's been 8 weeks. I was gonna go 9 or 10, but I kind of feel I'm getting stronger. I kind of feel fine. So let's see. I might go 11, 12. I don't have to compete till July. So
There's a new peptide that I've seen. I found one person that's actually guinea pigging it right now. I don't know. I'm curious if you know anybody that's used it. It's called 5-amino 1-MQ.
no, I'm not familiar.
So it's according to the data, right? Not only
Mhm.
can it help balance out your cholesterol and your blood sugar, it's outstanding for burning fat, right? So
Yeah.
um, you'll see it on certain like research chem sites and whatnot now.
hmm
Um, my buddy, who's very meticulous with what he does, so he's a good person, to guinea pig something like this.
hmm
He said he's taking the lowest dose, right, 50 milligrams, and he changed nothing at all. He actually was taking thyroid medication, so he actually lowered his thyroid a little bit. But he said in 7 days, even after his weekly cheat meal, he lost 3 pounds doing nothing different at all. So no negative side effects. So I'm very, very interested in seeing like if more people start talking about this one now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, you get leaner.
Yeah, it burns body fat. It can help
Mm.
obviously control blood sugar is another great addition there, but it's a fat burning peptide, but it's not a
Gotcha.
GLP-1 agonist like semaglutide or tirzepatide. I can send you some stuff on it. I've been reading more about it.
I want to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, anything where you can burn fat and not have to make changes is fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I get jealous of some of my clients where they can lose so little weight and get shredded. And I'm like, I'm 40 pounds down. And I'm like, the cut's still not cutting. And like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like I have to lose a lot of weight to get lean, whereas I see people not losing that much weight.
I'm gonna send you
You know,
the this link where you can look for yourself. But it's supposed to reduce inflammation. It's got a lot of very good data behind it.
okay.
I actually talked to my buddy who his clinic, his HRT clinic, is very by the book, and they don't do it there. He said they used to do it there.
Okay.
But I'm sure that there's, besides the research chem sites, there's other places that you can go and get it.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna check. Okay, you just text me, right?
Yeah, you can see it for yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
I'm very interested in it. Very interested in it.
Oh, it's just staying lean is the hard part,
Mm-hmm.
at least for me. All right, let's see. Let's do one more. Yeah, part left on the cut from thoughts on calorie consumption and growth phase. Wait, thoughts on calorie consumption and growth phase on rest. Oh, do you believe in changing calories on rest days or keeping it the same?
Well, the only thing that I didn't do on rest days was have my pre and post workout shake.
Okay.
That was like the main difference is while I was competing, and most of my men at one point or another were using some sort of like, whether it was highly branched cyclic dextrin or carbolin, whatever, around the workouts, with or without, insulin. So there's no need for that on a non-training day. But I ate the same meals. Some of my athletes, maybe, I would have them eat less on rest days. But I mean, the rest day you want to eat so you can come back hard the next day.
That's true. Yeah. Especially if you rest. I usually rest before my big body part. I rest before leg day. I don't want to
rest before legs and back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a weak question. Let's do one more. Okay.
Isn't it funny though that that's such a common question because people think that you're resting, that in that one day that you're just going to get fat and throw off your gains because you're not burning calories, but you have to look at the whole week, total it out, everything. There's a lot that goes into your body,
Or like people be like, should you still take D-ball on rest days? So, I mean, some people use it as a pre-workout, but you still got to recover. Like, why? Yeah. I don't see the point of not taking it personally. No. All right. Let's see. Keon Pearson versus Flex Wheeler.
Wow.
But it's a hard compare because I don't know how big Flex would actually. That's an interesting question. Flex would have to be in shape because Keon was shredded, and Flex in real true shape was like the 90s.
So when he won that first Arnold, he told me, I think he said, don't quote me on this, but I think he said he was 220.
Okay. And he like 5'10" at least.
Yeah. And he obviously he went up quite a bit in weight after that. So that first Arnold where he like really like, blew everybody away with, his conditioning and the package. Man, it's tough because the looks are so different. You're talking about
so different.
Two of the most incredibly genetically gifted guys ever.
They might be the most gifted. If we're talking about structure, muscle bellies, insertions, they might be the two most gifted guys we've ever seen.
I'll tell you, I'm going to quote him because I think he won't mind me saying this. When I brought Keon to pose for Steve Weinberger for the first time, right? I brought him with Flex came also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so did the whole thing, whatever. And then he went out to train and they were filming. I sat in there to bullshit with, Big Steve for a while. And I was like, what do you think, man? And he was like, that kid's probably got the best genetics I've ever seen besides the guy you brought with him.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. Obviously, there's genetics for like muscle mass and condition. I don't think they gifted in that part. But if we're just talking about structure, muscle bellies, insertions, waist, V tape, I mean, I don't think there's any better. Yeah. So because of the height and different eras and stuff, it's hard to compare. I think Flex has rounder muscle bellies.
Yeah.
I mean, they were also enhanced, enhanced at some point. I'm sure. I don't know, man. Keon might actually have a smaller waist in the poses.
Mm-hmm.
Flex appears to have a smaller waist outside the poses. I don't fucking know, man.
It's tough. The height makes it very difficult because there's a big difference in height. You know what I mean? So your eye tends to always go to a taller guy. Like you look at Arnold, there was where people thought, he wasn't the best guy, but that height really worked for him. I think the big thing is, so the 90s era guys were peeled, but in a much different way. I agree. Guys now have a different kind of hardness and density that you see primarily through like the glutes and the hamstrings, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't see guys nowadays with like freaky cross striations in their shoulders and stuff like you did in the 90s. Like,
I think I know why that is.
Why do you think it is?
Because it's happened to me when I worked with O'Regan versus when I worked with Compton. Mm-hmm. O'Regan is very old school coach, like 90s type coaching, and Compton is more new school. And Compton doesn't like diuretics, and his refeeds are very mild. So he pushes you really, 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 really down, and you never get super full during the prep. You're on the flatter side. I believe you're actually leaner body fat wise. You might not look leaner in every body part because my upper body didn't look I didn't have the crazy Christmas tree. I didn't have like chest striations, but my glutes and hams have never been that lean like it was this year. But then with O'Regan, I had like these crazy chest striations and Christmas tree, but my glutes were kind of soft. Yeah. Right. Because he was more heavier on me with the diuretics, which I do believe they were 90, and he didn't actually really carb me up. O'Regan, or at least with my body type, it was so mild to carbon up. Guys are carbon up heavier now, but they're actually leaner in body fat. Yeah. But they're not as dry. They're not as dehydrated. So it's a rounder, fuller look that isn't super dry to the skin, but also maybe sometimes it doesn't look as detailed, right? If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's a different look. I don't think you needed to be that full back then. I don't think Dorian was ever full. He was just big and hard. Yeah. I would go as far as say, Ronnie was full in 03, obviously. Yeah. But in 98, 99, Ronnie wasn't bursting full. He was peeled. Yeah. So it's a different look. When are you going to judge it? If you judge it by today's standards, Keon would win because he has today's look, fullness. If he judged by the standards back then, I don't know. I don't know because what would Keon look like? They would be like, "What the fuck?" It might be a lot for them to digest. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how Keon would look back then because he's so round now. Maybe he would be as round as Flex. You know what I mean?
Good point.
If he wasn't, pushing it. Because, guys, the name of the game is glutes. Yeah, so guys push and push and push to make sure they have those etched in glutes, which genetically is a lot different ball game for some people, and you sacrifice that fullness, like you just said,
100%.
to get that desired look. Now, when Flex was competing, he said they didn't care as much about that back then. You know what I mean? You didn't even really show it in your trunks back then. Your trunks covered all that.
They didn't even, half of them didn't even flex their glutes.
No, they just put their leg back and spiked their calf.
Yeah, like try to look for a picture of Dorian. Dorian Yates was so lean that you still saw the lines of his glutes, but he wasn't flexing his glutes. He was flexing hamstring. I mean, even Lavroni flex, Cormier, they weren't really flexing. Ronnie was flexing his glutes because that's his strong point, you know. But most people weren't flexing their glutes at all. Yeah, you know, so it's a different look. But yeah, if Keon didn't push that hard down and took more diuretics and some extra clean, fill those muscle bellies up. Damn, I mean, shit, he might look better for all I know.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy that he looks this good already. So
yeah, that part kind of sucks. Where somebody like Derek can have peeled glutes off season, and some people have to completely ruin their physique just to bring in shredded glutes.
Yeah, I know about that.
I fucking hate that shit. But next year, I'm gonna have lean glutes. I'm not going for peeled glutes. I'm going for lean glutes because the trade off is immense, bro, immense. And a lot of the guys in the lineup didn't have shredded glutes.
Dude, Palumbo told me one year, he was like, "You should just go get liposuction," because I was so big and hard at 245, but my glutes would not come in until I was all the way under 225 pounds. And by that point, my heart was broken. Mannion said to me at North Americans, he goes, "What did you do to yourself in the last 4 weeks? I saw you in Pittsburgh. You look massive." He's like, "You look skinny now." And I was like devastated. And Dave was like, "He's just saying that." I'm like, "He's the president of the whole thing."
Yeah, but that's the issue because you know how pissed I would be if I step up there and they're like, "Oh wow, you made some great improvements, but your ass is fat, bro." Yeah, then you're like, damn, back to square one. So it's like finding that balance, and that's the tricky part. Some people don't have to worry about that. Some people, boom, glute shredded, so they don't even have to think about it. I feel like shit. Derek's more worried about getting lean enough in this area, which is like it's the easy part for some of us.
Yeah, it's so interesting how that works.
Yeah, so Derek, he came in a lot fuller this year. At least in the upper body, his glutes were still just as peeled. So,
what is your, not to go in a completely different direction, but what's your prediction for Derek next year after what happened this year?
Man, from what I heard before Hani, Derek was struggling mentally to a point, confidence and poise and stuff like that. And once he got with Hani, I'm like, okay, he's good now. But some of the things he said and some of his behavior seems like he took it really hard, as you would expect anybody who loses Olympia, but maybe not in a good way. Like Hadi loses and he's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna beat everybody." Yeah. Whereas Derek is like, if God don't want this, I don't want it. And I'm like, well, God, I don't think God cares about bodybuilding that much. Yeah, so you're gonna have to want this for yourself. So. God will be fine if you didn't bodybuild at all. But do you want to bodybuild? So once you sound like that, it makes me think: do you have what it takes to lose and come back and win? And honestly, he might not have that kind of mindset. I
mean, I think very, very few people have that mindset. Like, it takes a lot to be a champion. But they say, like, when the king falls, man, you fall. The king falls the hardest. So
that's true.
To come back, like how Cutler did. I mean, that takes what it really takes is that confidence in yourself. That belief in yourself. If a lot of people, they might say, "All right, I've achieved it. I've achieved the greatest.
Yeah.
Why bother now?" What do you think of Sean Ray saying that Samson should retire now and not go anywhere?
You can't appease some of these guys because
it's first just trolling?
I would love to believe that, but I think Sean is. I don't know if he does it to get views or clicks or if he believes it, because the same guy who talks about like You can't on once and say guys are lazy. They don't want to compete. You got to compete more. Motherfucker does all these shows, wins everything, and then now he should get the fuck out of here. Like, damn,
I
you
think he's
can't
got to
win.
be trolling. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, he's trying to say his age. Okay, he's 38. If he was 48, I could see the argument. You win
Yeah.
at 48, maybe that should be it for you. But even then, like, why wouldn't you? If you could win at 48, why wouldn't you try for another one?
I mean, Tony Freeman competed well into his 40s and was in the mix for a while. So, if to me, 38, when you started bodybuilding later, is
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro, nobody made as much improvements as Samson. I don't know if we've ever seen anybody in 3 years make the improvements. Probably never.
Insane. Insane.
And that means he was already, what, 35, 36.
Yeah.
Now he's 38. Even if it slows down at the rate that he's improving, shit, retirement is the last thing on my mind. And he has the chance to make another, I don't know, $1.4 million, you know?
Yeah, why not?
How the fuck would you turn that down? You know, even if you get second, you're taking over 250 grand now. That used to be the winner. So there's no point to retire at all. I don't know why he said that. I don't know what's up with Shark Ray. I don't know. At one point, I actually wanted to get him on a podcast because the way I am is like I don't have to agree with you, but I respect people's opinion, and people who have strong opinions, I still respect it. Some of the shit he said has been off the wall, but I don't take it personally. I don't like fuck this guy. I never.
Yeah.
I was down to have him on podcast, but nobody wanted to see him on podcast. So
Really?
yeah, like my co-host, they didn't really like the idea, and I made a post about it, and people don't seem to want to see him. I'm like, damn,
Wow.
okay, damn. I didn't know he was. See, like I feel like me and you want to say we don't take shit that personal. It's like
No, I mean, from a bodybuilding standpoint, for me, like me and Sean, we're not friends or anything like that. We know each other, you know what I mean? We're not friends. I don't have any problems with him, but just looking at the bodybuilder aspect of it, I mean, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. You know what I
he
mean?
was incredible.
So I'd be interested in it just from that.
Yeah.
Whether he wanted to field those questions or not, whatever. That's the talk that I'd be interested in. Him training to beat those bigger guys, all that. But I do feel like he has to be trolling with a lot of this stuff because he says some crazy out of left field stuff.
He says some now opinions. I don't mind. Like even when he's on Bob Chick, I would assume they're pretty good friends. It seems like it.
Yeah.
But Bob Chick disagrees with him on almost every topic. Like almost to the point that Bob Chick is almost laughing at him. Like this guy is crazy. But it doesn't affect like his relationship with him. He's just like that's how he is, right?
Yeah, they have that relationship. That's good. There's so many podcasts now. It's like I'm there. It's a lot to keep up with nowadays.
Yeah.
I heard everyone's telling me. Actually, Jay Cutler told me you should listen to the Singerman podcast because I was like, bro, everybody's telling me I got to listen to this podcast that you did with Singerman, and he was like, you should listen to it. So I'm going to try this weekend to listen to it.
I wanted. Yeah, it was on. It played automatically, and I was like, "Oh shit, the Singerman!" I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to see him on the podcast, but he was there. But then I realized I don't really. Not that I know most of these people, but you know how you can feel like you know somebody just from seeing their personality and stuff. And I was like, I don't actually know what kind of person Aaron is. I've never really seen his personality besides like a commercial maybe or something.
Yeah,
I don't know how he is.
I mean, we've been separated for so long that I can't say that I really know anymore either. But I have an idea that the guy that I was great friends with is still in there. You know what I mean? So, I think a lot of people were like, oh, Aaron's a rat. He fucked you over and this and that. But that's actually not even the case. It was another guy went and ratted me and Aaron out first. And then it all started falling apart after that. You know what I mean? So that dude is the dude who, if I was going to be mad at anybody, I'd be mad at. But a guy that actually worked with us at that time period reached out to me and said he got emotional listening to Aaron's podcast because he was a part of those times. So I got to go check it out. There was a period where me and him were brothers, really. I mean, we're the best friends in the world, and went from that to fighting constantly, and then going to jail. But both of us, you know, whether you went through, whatever he went through, 9 months, almost 2 years, like me, neither one of us should have went to jail, and I know it definitely had to change him because it changed the hell out of me. So, I may not know who he is now. Like, same thing. He may not know who I am now. We probably have a lot of the same core values still, but I can tell you that I went through a phase where now I'm a big enough man to say now that I was being a bad friend and bad partner, and I can't fault him for how he felt about me during that time period, because I was being a dick. I was drunk all the time. I was going through a divorce with my ex-wife that totally took me out of my, mindset of doing all the good stuff that I used to do. So he tried very hard to help me in that time period. And I was basically like, F you. And, we ended up just fighting more. Where now, looking back at it, he was right. He was like, bro, give it up at this point. I know PJ Braun doesn't give it up. You're throwing your life away over this stuff with this girl. You're drunk all the time. But, sometimes you got to go through a lot of shit to realize all that,
Well, that's really good on your part, that it takes a lot of maturity to admit that, first of all. You know what I'm saying? So, could you see you guys down the line like having a conversation?
Yeah, it's crazy because when I did the podcast with Milos and those guys, Milos was like, pick up the phone. And I was like, actually, we're legally not even allowed to talk to each other. So honestly, we can't do that. But I think we'll definitely absolutely talk again once this is all like behind us and whatnot. I've already said, I don't know, hopefully he feels the same way, but I have no hard feelings towards Aaron. Man, all that bad shit is behind us now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
it's old news. So
that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I feel like there's no need to have any ill intent toward any people, especially having that past and having that history. So hopefully you guys have that conversation one day, and you guys. I mean, you don't have to be besties or anything, but
no, listen. My business partner manufactures most of Aaron's products, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have their business relationship, they have their friendship. He was separate from all this. When he came into Blackstone, me and Aaron were already fighting, and he was very like strong in his opinion that you guys should try to put all this stuff behind you, because you don't really get too many like best friends in life. You know what I mean? You might get a couple if you're lucky. So it's a shame to throw that all away over some business disagreements.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah. Well, hopefully we see a PJ Aaron workout. Back.
Never know. Look at this shirt, by the way. I wore this shirt for you. It's dark in here. Can you see it?
Only Braun, the only Braun. That's fine. I think I feel like that's like a dope last name to have in bodybuilding. It works for me. Then.
Bev Francis thought it was a fake name.
You see? Yeah.
She asked me what my real name was, and I was like, Philip Jr. And she goes, no, what's your real last name? I was like, Braun. She's like, that's not your real last name. I was like, yeah, it is. She's like, I thought you made it up.
Yeah. That's fire though. PJ, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, man. It's always a pleasure to do this with you.
I think your family is here. I saw people walking in the back.
Yeah, they've been here. I told them they could come down and hang out. I said, you're cool. You don't care.
Yeah, man. Okay. PJ, thank you, man. I'm gonna talk to you soon, brother.
All right, man. Go eat some food.
Yes, sir.